Something that a lot of people thought they would never say is that the Chiefs are bringing Kareem Hunt back for a visit tomorrow to discuss maybe potentially bolstering up our running back room until Pacheco comes back from his ankle injury, which they say 6 to 8 weeks, but it could be longer. But hoping for the best for him. I broke my right fibula in my ankle when I was younger. So hopefully he has a fast recovery. It's painful. It was crazy to me how we talked last night on our show. We're like, oh, he was bouncing up and down. He looked fine. And then apparently in the locker room, he had a towel over his head crying about the injury. So obviously, it is, JD, in the moment, you got the adrenaline pumping, you got a cleat on. When you take that cleat off, that's when the real pain. I mean, when you take the shoe or the cleat off, that's the real pain comes in. And I can imagine it was painful if it was a right fibula fracture. But JD, Kareem Hunt coming back. Obviously, everyone knows about the story. Apparently he lied to Clark Hunt about how things went down with a specific woman. He kicked her. I guess he never conveyed that he did that. And then, goes to Cleveland. The Chiefs cut him because he lied to the staff. Goes to Cleveland, has a decent, being backup for Nick Chubb, has a decent career over there, and is now a free agent. He's not the same guy that he was in 2017. It's been 7 years since that happened, 6 years since we got him. But he's coming back. He knows the system, generally knows the system. And he can also be a kind of a veteran presence for the young guys who are in that room. And obviously, we have Samaje Perine, but now with Pacheco out, it's still looking like he may be the main bell cow. You have Kareem Hunt potentially come back. But JD, what are your thoughts on? I know we talked about this 2 years ago about this happening. But what do you think about Kareem Hunt coming back to Kansas City potentially?
Personally, I like it. Matter of fact, I think I was calling for him to come back maybe a couple of years ago, and maybe when, and I'll tell you when this was. It's when actually McKinnon, he was going through the talks. Maybe was it like last year, the year before last, and we didn't know if we were going to sign him then. And I'm just like, look, Kareem Hunt is a guy who's the second fiddle up there in Cleveland, and he's wasting away. Now they got a two-headed monster at the time. Him and Chubb were doing an excellent job, but then it seemed like he just started falling at the wayside. Who was it? They had Ford. Ford came in and started taking some more, eating into it, right? Some of the snaps, and he seemed like he was a disgruntled running back at the time, which he was. I mean, we know Kareem Hunt has a load of talent. What shape is he in? We don't quite know. We're going to find out if we decide to get him. So all of that, you got to kind of figure out. Now, this is the reason I like it, okay? And I know people express, at least I'll talk about my brother. Our brother, Lance the Spoken, was expressing, well, why did the Chiefs bring it back now? And I've been calling for him to bring it back over the years. And I'm thinking, well, look, okay, for anybody, my thing is, it don't matter when we bring him back. Maybe bygones has been bygones. Maybe the Chiefs feel like, he's learned from it, he's matured, and everybody wants to move forward with themselves and their lives. That you just want to give up on a guy completely. And so maybe they've hashed these things out, talking to him about what they want to do with him. I think this is something that somebody in the organizations probably haven't been talking to Kareem Hunt, probably hadn't really been talking to everybody else about these things. But I'm assuming maybe even during all season, because we didn't know where McKinnon was, they was even potentially thinking about signing Kareem Hunt then, so to me, I get everything that happened here with the Chiefs and what he did. I think he chose some contrition. It has been a number of years. There is a maturity factor there. And I do believe when you have a guy who's in an embarrassing position, any of those guys want to be able to help those guys out. So I don't think it's something that you should shun him from the Chiefs forever. So I like the move. If we bring him back, I do like it.
I love the move. We you and I think we had some fans who I think when we had this 2 years ago, we had a video we had a segment about bringing him back. It could be a great move to bring him back. And we had some fans say, "Oh, Clark would never let that happen." And now I'm seeing comments here. Kareem has to have the blessing of Clark Hunt, which I'm sure Veach did get that in order to even get a meeting with him tomorrow. So that probably already happened. And probably, he's probably going to meet with all these guys tomorrow when he comes in, to get the full, it's been a long time. 2019 or no, 2018, that was 6 years ago. The guy's grown a lot in 6 years. He was a kid. Now he's a grown man. Not to say he wasn't a grown man then, but he's matured. He's been 6 years.
Right.
And the one thing for me, it would be an amazing redemption story. Imagine that a guy who was at the peak of his career in Kansas City, the guy, the RB1, gets into trouble, gets cut. And also, too, I remember in 2019, the year we went to the Super Bowl the first time against the Niners, he had a speeding ticket where he got pulled over for, I think, a DUI or DWI or something. It was a year after that whole thing. Mm-hmm. And they had the dash cam footage of the officer talking to him, and he's crying. He's like, "Hey, man, my whole life's been taken away from me. But my team I played for was playing in the Super Bowl, man." He's crying, talking to the cop about this. And you hear that, and then he's got a potential. And I'm not saying he's going to have a big role with us. He's not going to be what he was 10 years ago. But he comes back here and potentially give us some snaps on a potential three-peat. That's movie type stuff, man. That really, if he comes back to be a pivotal part for this team, as we ride it out till Pacheco gets back, but he could be a contributor to a team that goes for a three-peat. And when 7 years prior he was cut from the team, that's something that could be a movie at some point. But that's just, that would be wild.
I guess you could look at it as a Hallmark feel-good story.
Yep.
Talking about redemption, right, and reconciliation, and just trying to get your life back in order and put it together. Sure, absolutely. I think all those things it could definitely be part of a nice little movie. But just the reality of these things, them talking and really dealing with the issues in the past, I think is very important. Like we were just talking about it, just moving forward. And so, yeah, it has to be in the Hunt's good graces and whatnot. And, for guys coming in, and he's shown, a lot of, like I said, contrition and he's very apologetic, which I know he is. He'll come in and fit in, man. I think he'll be welcomed back here with open arms. And I think a majority of the people would like to see a Kareem Hunt return, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it seems like in the chat, everyone is okay and open with the idea of him coming back, which is nice to see, because it's I think right here what our guy Kareem said. Kareem has never not wanted to be Chief. Yeah, right. He didn't leave, because he wanted to go test out the market. He left for this circumstance, and if you read even more into it, he lied to the team because he was scared about being cut from the team by telling them the truth. I mean, I'm not trying to rationalize a guy's lying or whatnot, but he lied because he didn't want to be in trouble. He didn't want to potentially be cut, and then he ends up getting cut because he lied in the end of it. But he never wanted to leave, and we've kind of we had Damian Williams for a little bit after him. He was the first one to kind of take the reins after Hunt left. But we kind of been searching at RB1, and then Pacheco comes along 2 years ago. But we drafted CH in the first round. I thought he was going to be the guy to replace the Kareem Hunt shadow. And then we finally got the guy Pacheco, and now we need someone to kind of help out in the room while he's down and out. So I just think this whole story is just kind of it would be pretty cool. And hopefully I think there was things last training camp, like Tasia sent it to us earlier, JD. But there was last training camp where he came in late to Cleveland. I think they signed him right before the season started, but he came in kind of a little overweight, about 20 pounds overweight. So that's going to play a part in this as well. See if he's been keeping up conditioning in the offseason.
We'll see that's the important thing. The important thing is knowing that once he gets here, he's just not going to start right away. It's just not going to happen. He's still got to be able to work himself into shape. And so while that is happening, we do have guys here in the building that can get these things done. Carson Steele has shown he can carry the football. We know Samjay Piran can carry the football. He can block, he can catch, he can run. We know that. So we have capable guys that's already on the Chiefs to do that. And we have some guys on the practice squad that could come up. They need to get some of those reps.
Come on, baby, go. Yes. That's a first down. This football season, I'll be putting down normal sodas like Coca-Cola
for Olipop. Olipop offers a healthier alternative with its low sugar content and natural ingredients.
Olipop is more than just a drink. It's a wellness companion that supports your digestive health. Packed with prebiotics, this fizzy elixir helps promote good bacteria in your gut, leading to improved digestion and overall well-being.
So go ahead, click the link in the description and use promo code SODALOVE and get your can of Olipop so you can enjoy the game guilt-free. Go Chiefs.
Use the promo code SODALOVE for 15% off now.
That's what I believe, because of what we have, the scope of our offense and what we do with it. I think we'll be all right until the time for, like you said, a Kareem Hunt to get into some good shape. And then, of course, until, Isiah Pacheco heals up and comes back for this three-peat run. So,
and how much of the, I kind of do not an argument on Twitter, but someone was saying, like I made a mention, he's a veteran. He provides, someone who's been there before. He can, shed some light and help out Carson Steele if need be. And also it just adds another guy to that room to take the, the pressure off an undrafted guy, Carson Steele. But how much of this is scheme? Because I also mentioned that he knows the scheme. He knows, he knows the pretty much the playbook. And the guy's like, well, he hasn't been on the team for 6 years, so how's he know the playbook? It's like, well, it's still, talk about how important that aspect is of bringing him back.
Yeah, when you have somebody who understands the system, he hadn't been for 6 years. It's still Andy's offense. He cut his teeth here. He knows his baseline foundational offensive understanding is from the Kansas City Chiefs. And so Nagy is still using the same terminology. The guys are still here that he played with. He will be caught up to speed real quick. Okay, it's almost like riding a bike. As soon as you start hearing things like, okay, yeah, no problem. He's got it. So that I don't. That's not a concern to me. He'll be fine in that regard. The question for me is just him getting into shape. That would be the biggest question, at least for a Kareem Hunt return.
Yeah, I'm excited. I hope that it goes well. And also, too, I think someone mentioned it earlier in the chat, but Andy Reid is one for second chances. And I know a lot of people, sometimes that when we mentioned this 2 years ago, like, oh, no, Clark's never going to give him a second chance. Andy Reid's one guy who's always given the benefit of the doubt to players and to give him second chances. Just give an example. Mike Vick is a good example of that. And he gave him another chance in Philadelphia. Josh Gordon, he brought him back, gave him another shot. So Andy is big on that. So it's like, I could see that. That being a part of it, as long as he's healthy and he looks like, he stayed in shape. And Jay, is that a hard thing for NFL players when they're not on a team for a whole off season and for the first 2 weeks of the year to stay in shape?
Oh yeah. Sure, it's tough. Especially not getting any phone calls. You're not getting any bites, man. It is tough. And so sometimes, man, you may have the feeling like this might be the end for you. And so you start getting a little bit more lackadaisical. You might get out there and work, but like I said, you cannot simulate playing a game, like football. It's something you got to do physically. You got to just be out there to get used to it, to play. Everybody's sitting there. Well, not everybody. Some people talking about just lock up the liquor cabinet. You don't have to worry about that, man. I'm sure he's drinking like any other grown man is doing. And so I think he'll be all right. He'll be fine. But nah, man, when you're sitting at home, it's always tough. Like you said, when he came back to Cleveland, that joker looked like he was, somebody said, the Tage say he looked like a fullback. So,
which Steele's technically a fullback. So yeah, two fullbacks in our roster, and Samaje's a pretty stout guy too. So it's
we got some big boys back there bowling, man. It's gonna be hard to bring down. So I love it. But that's the hard yard you need. So sometimes when you start seeing that heavy package come in, the 13 personnel, 12, maybe bring in Chanel, we loading up, man. We running straight down your throat. So say that's bull, JD. You got snaps in you today. I do. Okay, but I'm gonna need a whole tank of oxygen with them snaps too, Kareem. So But yeah, man, I think when defenses see that, they think you run the football, then you throw it. We got guys who can catch the football, so I don't think that'd be so much of an issue, man. I like having big guys back there running and rolling and running over folks. So, what's up, baby? That's my baby. What's up, sweetie?
And also too, you put I mean, I could see you back there, with the power T formation we did on that 4th and inches to get them to get that first down, which we kicked the field goal on. But I could see you back there, you, Carson Steele, Kareem Hunt. Ooh,
oh man, come on,
that's
man.
nasty.
We coming in with nothing but pain. That's what we bringing. All pain. My nephew's still on here. We used to actually have that package in high school, and I was in the backfield. That's what we used to call it. Bull. There he is. I knew it. That's right. That's exactly bull. Bull. He understands that. That's the bull. And man, we used to load up, man, and hit jokers dead in their mouth, and they could not stop it. They could not stop it. So, yeah, man. Yeah, that's a hard formation and personnel to deal with. Seriously.
Yeah,
So.
and I think was it Jeff Allen, the former Chiefs O lineman, who I think he works with KCSN. He made a tweet like during the training camp. He called Carson Steele Kareem Hunt because he reminds him of Kareem Hunt the way he runs, and he does run very similar to him. And then you had Kareem Hunt and Kareem Hunt in the same backfield with each other. Ooh, that could be fun. Very physical, two guys together.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would. Kareem Hunt. That's funny. Yeah, I think I remember him saying that. I tell you what made Kareem Hunt so why he was good is his balance. He just doesn't really get knocked over, man. He has unbelievable balance just within him, his hips, able to skate through holes and whatnot. I seen him, man, when he was up there at Toledo. I remember him up there, man, for real, in college, because my boys, his son, Logan Woodside, quarterback, they play together. So I used to go up there and go watch him, man, all the time. So I remember Kareem when he was up there, man, at Toledo. And I was like, man, if the Chiefs got this guy, and sure enough, they got him. I was like, yo, they ready to roll, man. They really got a good one with this. So
he flashed right away. That first game against the Patriots in the opening night game, he fumbled on the first drive and then went off for like 3 touchdowns after that. That was just He flashed from the day one, man. It was a sad story to see what happened, the way that ended. But if he can come back and then be a part of this 3-peat run, I think if they did sign him, I wonder if they would do some kind of like a press conference. I don't know. I don't know. I think I read somewhere online where they may bring him back on a practice squad. If so, you probably will get a press conference for the practice squad pickup. But nonetheless, I can't wait to see him.
I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you get for a practice squad?
A practice squad press conference, or doing a little jersey, a little hold up, like number 40.
No, I'm saying just a press conference bringing him back. Period. Like that would just be, and he's going to be on the practice squad trying to get himself prepared. I mean, that's what I would do. Because I know a joker. I would assume he's not in game shape, like these guys out here right now. So, I talked about people going out there and guys. Some of these running backs might sit around eating Doritos, man. Next thing you know, they call you up, you trying to get the flakes off your chest and stomach. I can see him doing that. He does, hello? Yeah. Huh? Oh, Chiefs, really? Yeah, I'll be here for a second. You just getting chips and pizza out of the way and soda. Like, oh shoot. Man, clean all this up, man. I'm ready to go out there in Kansas City. So I'm back, baby. I'm back. So I hope all this works out, Marcus. I do. I hope it all works out. I really do, man. It'd be great to see Kareem Hunt back here. Really.
If you had a bet on it, what do you think the odds are that he does come back? Based on how fast this kind of manifested, the fact that Pacheco gets announced 6 to 8 weeks, he's having surgery on his ankle, then like an hour later, Kareem Hunt's coming in for a visit.
He's the most likely candidate. I would put him probably at 100%. If you're calling him up, you're calling this guy up right now, I think you're serious, right? And you don't do it unless you've weighed all the pushback and everything that you thought of about maybe not even seeing him in the jersey anymore, right? So this comes out immediately. I'm thinking for them, they just want to make sure he's healthy. They're going to give him a baseline about when he needs to get into shape to go out there on the field. I think they're serious. I think they're really serious about this, man. So I see this happening. I see it happening.
Obviously, CH on IR or what was the NFI list? He could come back in 2 weeks. But I mean, with being out with PTSD, it's one of those things that's kind of unforeseen. You don't know when like it's going to be ready to come back. And do you think this kind of sheds light where like, okay, we could get by, by elevating Amani Bailey to the active roster? Do you think this, if they do sign him tomorrow, do you think this kind of lends a hand that they don't really see CH coming back in the next 2 weeks?
I don't know. Shoot, I think really you got to kind of make moves. Just assuming, right? You just got to be prepared. You got to be prepared either way. So I think once you get ahead of things, that's probably your best approach going into it, right? Because if you don't have CEH, and hopefully, like we said, everything's going well with him. If you don't, you definitely want to have a backup plan. So I think it's the most practical thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are surprised. About Time says, I cannot believe Clark is on board for this. Total shocker. A lot of people are surprised by it, but, Clark's a religious guy, second chances.
Well, okay, yeah, exactly. And then not even just religious, but I think we all, at some point, it is about growth. So easy to throw people away. You know how we are on this program with us, man. Look, we talk about grace. You talk about giving grace to people and forgiveness. And moving on and getting better, reconciliation. All those things are important. We don't just say them just to be saying them. Hopefully Clark and those guys actually want to live it. And so this will be a great testament to how people should be treated. And so Clark, maybe in his heart, was like, hey, man, look, this guy, we understand he did some things wrong. We have addressed it. He hadn't been here for quite some time. We think that we all got a good understanding of where he is right now. And that's important. That's important that we all understand where we are in this whole process of growth. So I support that 100%, my brother. 100%.
Yeah. And Clark also, too, I mean, he also wants to win as well. I mean, he's got a chance for a three-peat this year as well. So, and you want to bring in a guy who's talented and knows the system. So yeah, that also plays a factor too. And it's also been a long time as well. But 6-7 years now. So,
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.